We should be live momentarily.
Okay, great.
In the meantime, I am pouring myself some beer. It's a little heady. It's a little heady.
Sorry.
Just
I'm
touch.
so sorry. I didn't mean it. I swear I did not mean any of it.
Alright.
I literally just barely touched the cork. I did a quarter turn, and I was like, I wonder what would happen if this. I don't even know what I was saying.
You don't?
I don't even know.
We're gonna find out momentarily. But hello everyone and welcome to Awesome Hardware. This is a live show. We talk about technology, we drink some beer. Occasionally we curse and, adult themes and all that kind of stuff. So if you're young and easily offended, please bear that in mind. You might not want to watch our show. However, we already did the first half of this show, which is episode number 120. Side A is streamed live to Kyle's YouTube channel, which is known as Bitwit. So check that out if you missed it. It should be linked in the video's description right at the top. And during our break, because we take a brief break between shows so we can recuperate and sometimes pee and stuff, apparently Kyle made an attempt at opening a bottle, this bottle of Chimay Grand Reserve right here, which was being streamed to Twitch. And we're gonna watch right now. You were holding it to your eye. You were holding it. Oh my god!
I told you.
Oh my
I didn't even. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't even. Oh my god. So many people just saw that. Oh my god, 800 people saw that. Oh my god. Just so. Oh my god. I'm so.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. That is the most beautiful. That is gorgeous. Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, I'm crying.
Thank you for clipping that. Whoever clipped that.
Yes.
That was so.
Many people.
I'm crying right now.
Oh my
The
god.
dogs are freaking out. Okay, so.
Can we get this on Reddit? Can we please get this on front page?
Oh, that was beautiful.
Oh my
That was
god.
so beautiful.
I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it to look like that. Like when
I
I was.
had no idea you were pointing it at your eye. With a mouse. I assumed you're like, oh, it's just gonna put. Oh.
It's like right
Okay.
in my
Okay.
face.
Wow.
I'm hurting.
All right, that was incredible. That was absolutely incredible. I'm so happy.
I'm glad you're not mad because I felt really bad when it went everywhere.
I wish we could just end my half right now.
Because there's no way to follow that.
Because we really can't follow this up. Everything's going to be terrible from now on. We are going to talk about technology. As usual, if you guys buy stuff from our stores, we'll give you a shout out at the end of the show. My store is paulshardware.net. I have now added some pullover hoodies available in gray, some dark gray, some lighter. This is, yeah, these colors, as you can see right here. So check that out. Order some stuff.
Are they waterproof too?
All high quality merch. I'm not sure if it's waterproof. Kyle's store is bitwit.tech/store. He announced some ladies shirts. Still got the fidget spinners going as well as some hats. So check those things out. And big thanks to all you guys who help support us as we're doing our live show. My God.
Oh.
I am so glad that was recording. Like, how sad would you be if that wasn't recording? Oh my God.
I wouldn't have been terribly sad because
Yeah.
It looked so much worse than it was. Like I just felt like the pop was loud and it was startling, and the cork hit my glasses, so it didn't even hurt me or anything. But I didn't expect it to look
Let's watch it one more time.
I didn't expect it to look that dramatic. Like the foam and suds just exploding on me. Because I couldn't see shit. When that happened, I could not see anything. I mean, my vision was completely masked.
Look at your face.
Oh, slow-mo would be great.
We can't watch
Everyone
it
can
anymore. We
slow-mo.
can't watch it anymore. We gotta...
No.
Okay.
We'll never get through this.
My God.
Oh my god. This cannot.
I had no idea. I went to go pee. I went to pee.
You heard the pop.
I heard the dog barking. I was like, oh, what happened to the dog bark? Okay. No. This is the best. This is our best show ever.
Yeah.
All right. Let's attempt to continue with the show as planned.
Great.
So, usually the second half is a continuation of tech news. And let me pull up my notes so I can have some vague idea of what I'm talking about as we go along here. But our first bit of news is sort of a follow-up to something we talked about on the show before, which is this crazy obsession with super ultra-wide monitors, which is apparently continuing with the production of a 32:9 aspect ratio ultra-wide VA panel, which is being developed and is now available not just from Samsung, because we already talked about the Samsung version of this in a previous episode. Now Philips has one, 49-inch 32:9 ultra-wide curved VA monitor. There's a picture of it right there. And this one's going to be a little bit less expensive, so that's kind of the main thing.
Upside.
Philips tends to cater, I feel like, towards a little bit more budget than the Samsung Premium, but this is the Philips 492P8 49-inch VA panel, 3840 by 1080 is the resolution. 32:9 is the aspect ratio. It is the same panel used in the about $1,500 US-ish Samsung CH90, which is a QLED. This one, however, should be a little bit less expensive. The article says 899 euros is kind of what they expect the price to be, which is the equivalent of 1,075 US dollars or 810 British pounds. This one's more aimed at the professional market than, say, gamers, so they do leave some stuff out to hit that lower price. Does not have quantum dot, also might have less HDR compatibility as far as HDR standards, a lower maximum refresh rate. So maybe they're harvesting panels that couldn't hit higher refresh rates that the Samsung panels are hitting. No FreeSync 2, all these as compared to the Samsung model, which is going to be again $1,500 or so. So for $400-ish less, you still get wide viewing angles, 178 degrees, pretty good brightness, 600 candela per square meter, and contrast ratio up to 5,000 to 1. LED backlight, 1800R curvature, sRGB color gamuts, and a trio of inputs. D-sub, HDMI, and DisplayPort. D-sub very much indicating that it's geared towards professionals and people who are in workplaces where you might actually need a D-sub input, which D-sub would not be able to hit that resolution, I feel like.
Yeah.
I'd be curious what you'd be limited to if you actually use that.
1080.
But you got HDMI and DisplayPort, so for that you're okay. It's also got USB Type-C input that splits into a couple USB 3.0 Type-A connectors, a little hub, as well as a 1 gigabit Ethernet port, which is odd to me. Is it just a pass-through? Or there's actually an Ethernet adapter built into the monitor?
Interesting.
Curious. Anyway, though, these should be available in Q2 2018, so next year sometime.
Okay. Wait, so if it doesn't have FreeSync 2, does it at least have FreeSync?
Maybe FreeSync 1.
Okay.
Not some of the benefits of FreeSync 2 and the other refresh rates that are supported and that kind of thing.
Okay. Ah, okay. That's a good option.
I'm not sure about that. It might not have FreeSync at all.
Yeah.
But as a professional monitor, you wouldn't care about that.
Right.
But if you're a gamer on a budget, then maybe you would.
Yeah.
Okay, here is a scandal that has prompted the FTC to crack down on social media influencers. You guys are probably somewhat familiar with the scandal in question, which is Trevor T. Martin and Thomas Syndicate Cassell. Their CSGO Lotto website and the skins that they were selling and the fact that they were advertising them to their viewers without disclosing that they were actually owners of the company selling the skins in the first place was pretty shady. They got a huge... they got in a lot of trouble over it, culminating in the FTC actually settling charges against them.
Wow.
This is the first time that the FTC has settled charges against individual social media influencers.
Wow.
And it also sets a new precedent for social media influencers. Just to clarify, Kyle and I are social media influencers.
No. What precedent?
We
do
don't
now
want to
have
be. We didn't try to be. It just happened.
Yeah.
That's how we're labeled. So potentially we are subject to some of.
Are we being hunted?
I hope not. It's open season on social media influencers now. No.
Sounds terrible.
So yeah. Basically, influencers need to unambiguously disclose their connections to brands and companies that they happen to be promoting. So there's a list here in the actual article, such as clearly disclose when you have a financial or family relationship with a brand. So if you're getting paid, or like I recently did a video on Monoprice sit-stand desks, and my wife works for Monoprice, so I was very careful to say at the beginning of the video, by the way, guys, my wife works for Monoprice.
Right.
So that's why I said that. Don't assume followers know all your brand relationships. Ensure your sponsorship disclosure is hard to miss. Don't assume disclosures built into social media platforms are sufficient. So if I tweeted, hey guys, I have this great collaboration going with this company, and then I did a video about it, but I didn't say anything about it in the video, I can't say, well, I tweeted about it.
Right.
So that's okay. You have to be very clear about that kind of thing.
Yep.
Treat sponsored tags, including tags and pictures, like any other endorsement. And a lot of this goes towards the Instagram side of this, because Instagram is huge as far as the models and other Instagram influencers who have huge amounts of followers who show products and that kind of thing without necessarily saying, by the way, they gave me $5,000 on the side to like happen to be like, oh, look at this.
Yep.
Like if Shimei had paid us for Kyle to blast that thing in his face right now, we would have had to tell you.
Yep.
But as it happens, Shimei just got that advertising
for free
of charge.
Yeah.
And we paid cash money for that.
We could have made so much money off of that moment.
I know.
God,
we should have monetized that.
Terrible businessmen.
Anyway, though. But we'll always tell you guys whether or not we are making money from the stupid stuff that we do. So yeah, don't use ambiguous disclosures like thanks, hashtag collab, hashtag SP. Hashtag SP really irritates me.
SP? What is that? I don't even know what that is. What does it seem?
Hashtag, it's short for sponsored. Hashtag SPON, which also is stupid, or hashtag ambassadors.
No, hashtag ad's all you need to do.
I've seen hashtag ad, and I think
fine.
hashtag ad people understand that.
Yeah.
Ad is an advertisement. I think that's pretty unambiguous. But other things where you're trying to like soften it and be like, oh, we're friends.
Yeah,
or that kind of thing.
Hashtag thanks is ridiculous.
Yeah. On image-only platforms like Snapchat, superimpose disclosures over the images. This is going to be something for Snapchat, Instagram.
Whores.
I mean, a big issue for. I mean, we talked about the Kardashians a little bit on Kyle's half of the show, but yeah, like if they're getting paid for something, like they're going to need. It's got to be there on the actual image,
right?
And that detracts.
That makes sense
From that type of advertising. Because they want it to appear organic and like, oh, they just happen to like this.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, don't rely on disclosures that people will see only if they click more as well. So it needs to be above the fold. The FTC has also contacted something like 21 unnamed Instagram influencers, more specifically. So we'd assume these are high-profile people with big follower pools, followships, large followings.
Yes.
Okay.
Follow orgies.
With orgies. Yes. So yeah. I think this is
good information.
I think this is okay. I think this is what the FTC is supposed to do. And I think when it comes to advertisements, people should know they're being advertised to. You shouldn't be tricked into having something advertised to you. And I hope that we do a good job at telling you guys what's an ad and what's not.
I think we do. I have kind of an example from this because I did a video recently on an LG TV that they sent me a review sample for.
Yes,
and
thousands of dollars they paid.
A lot of people in the but they paid me $0. $0. But people in the comments were like complaining that it was like this is an ad, and you should have said up front that LG sponsored you for this video. But they didn't really sponsor me for the video. They sent me a review sample, and I gave my honest 2 cents on it. no disrespect to Jay, but this is exactly what I feel like a lot of us do for other tech parts too, like video cards, for example. Video cards, I never openly state, oh, I was sent this product for free to review, but no one ever gives a shit about a video card. But the second they see like a 4K TV, all of a sudden they're like, why were you up front with this, Kyle? Why were you up front? It's like, we handled that product exactly the same as every other PC DIY component we get in, but yet no one bats an eye for that stuff. So there's a fine line there. But if LG did pay me for some sort of campaign fund or whatever, and they like gave me $500 or $1,000 for anything for that video, then it would have been made up front, either in the video verbally, or it would have been within the first 3 lines of the description, so you can immediately see it when you click on the video. At any rate, that's kind of how I feel like you and I pretty much run our channels more or less the same way. We have sort of a similar mentality to that. Again, everyone is a little bit different. Some people color outside of the lines. Whatever Syndicate Tom dude here with the CS:GO Lotto thing, But it's good that FTC is taking a role in all of this, because I feel like it's such a new sort of medium with social media and stuff that it needs to be regulated in some way.
So yeah, I mean, I would agree there as far as, I mean, I can say personally as far as advertisements go, anytime I have a sponsorship, it's for a short ad at the very beginning of a video, and that's also in the very top line of the description. And then beyond that, when products are provided for review, that's also disclosed in the description as far as these products are provided by X company or Y company or that kind of thing. But those aren't necessarily products that are provided as a sponsorship. A sponsorship would be saying like, hey, you want to do a video on our product? And you'd be like, I don't know about that. Right. How about we pay you $2,000? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm interested now. If you're doing a video that you wouldn't have otherwise done because you got paid money by a company to do a video on that product, then that is a sponsored video.
Exactly.
And that is where the distinction lies between disclosing as far as, here's a product that was sent for review, here's money I was paid to feature something that I would not necessarily otherwise have featured.
Right.
But that's a distinction that it's up to us to be as clear as possible about.
Yeah.
And hopefully us discussing it will help anyone who might not be sure how that's supposed to work, should work.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've been drinking, so let's move on to stuff that's less legally binding. Here's a quick story about Tesla's autopilot. There was a fatal Model S crash that was actually last year. This has already been discussed and talked about because this was one of the...
Oh, last year, okay.
Yes, one of the few...
The freeway one?
Yeah, this was one of the few fatal Model S crashes. But this is actually, of course, having an impact on how autonomous vehicles operate going forward.
Of course. And
especially how government plays a role in that, because there's obviously some question as far as regulation and that kind of thing. So specifically, the National Transportation Safety Board met recently just to discuss this 2016 fatal Tesla Model S crash. This actually occurred on May 7th, 2016 on the U.S. Highway 27A near Williston, Florida. Joshua Brown was the driver of the vehicle, and they said he was overly reliant on Tesla's autopilot function and interacted with the car only 7 times in 37 minutes while traveling at 74 miles per hour. The highway he was on is a 4-lane highway with an eastbound and westbound lanes separated only by a grass median. So this is one of those distinctions that you wouldn't necessarily think about unless you were talking specifically about autopilots, autonomous vehicles, and how they work and how they might be able to work in some situations but not in others. If you're on a split highway that has an actual physical barrier between either side of the highway, there's no possibility for any cross traffic going either way. So a UI that's running an autopilot for an autonomous vehicle or a semi-autonomous vehicle might be able to have more leeway in that situation than in this situation where there was only a grass median, which allowed, in this case, the 4-lane highway. It was a 4-lane highway, and a tractor trailer made a left-hand turn across the path of the Tesla onto a side road. The truck driver failed to yield to the oncoming car. The Tesla hit the trailer in its middle. The collision sheared the roof from the top of the Tesla, as you can see pretty graphically in the image here. It also continued another 300 feet down the road before slamming into a utility pole, and the driver died. This was a 2015 Model S using the original Mobile Eye sourced hardware and running Tesla's firmware 7.1. The system works like a lot of other adaptive cruise control lane keeping software. This is what is commonly or sort of known as Level 2 semi-autonomous driving. So I linked to another article here, mainly because it has a nice image that I can show you guys here. So we've briefly discussed this before, but just to refresh your memory in case you're not sure, varying levels of
Autonomy?
Autonomy, yes, that would be the word. Autonomy when it comes to a driverless vehicle. Level 0, of course, is no autonomy at all. Level 1 would be longitudinal or transverse guide. So basically, either it's doing lane correction, so like left to right motion and keeping you in your lane, or something like a cruise control moderating your speed.
Mm-hmm.
Level 2 is both of those at the same time. So you could potentially have both your hands and eyes off of the wheel. Mm-hmm. Your car would look at the lanes in front of you and correct the wheels to keep you in the lane, and would also look at potential vehicles in front of you to keep you driving at the proper speed.
Right.
And this is actually what my wife's car has, more or less.
Level 2.
Yeah, level 2, which is she has a Subaru Outback, so it has a lane correction thing. I don't let it do the thing where it actually will keep you in the lane. It just warns me if I'm strolling out of the lane.
Gotcha.
And then it's got the adaptive cruise control, which monitors the car in front of you, which is pretty nice.
Right.
Now the jump from level 2 to level 3 is what's presenting sort of a challenge here, and this is where Tesla has provided some kind of more level 3 functionality, which is what sort of maybe got this guy into the situation. Granted, I mean, there's user error, of course, that should also be taken into account here. But this is where you can have your hands off the wheel and your eyes don't need to be on the road. But for level 3, the vehicle needs to be able to prompt you to take over if you need to.
Okay.
And it needs to be able to do that on a moment's notice.
Right.
So you can't necessarily be sitting in the back seat watching a movie or whatever.
It needs to be instant. Yeah.
You know, you can be up in the front doing, I don't know, something on your smartphone or that kind of thing,
Right.
but you still need to be aware. And
you need to be able to take control of the wheel and the pedal
Yeah.
at a moment's notice. Okay.
so there's a lot of questions right now going on about, like, a lot of the vehicles with level 3 autonomy that they're introducing have actual direct monitoring of you. So it's looking at your face and it's seeing, like, oh, is he dozing off?
Right.
And also the question of how long it can go before you actually take some action.
Right.
So for the driver of the Tesla, for example, and the limited action he had, like, it has a torque meter on the actual steering wheel, so it can tell if you've adjusted the steering wheel or something like that. So
Right.
that's how it's.
Is that what like Model S's are equipped with? Is level 3 or where did Model
technically
S's
it's
fall
level
at?
2. Technically it's level 2, but
Nice.
what they're saying is that a lot of the Tesla autopilot functionality that they've introduced has made people treat it like level 3.
I see.
And that's where there is maybe some questions, of course.
Gotcha.
Of course, they can update how the software works and how the autopilot works through over-the-air updates and that kind of thing, which is useful. But a lot of companies are actually skipping over level 3 entirely to level 4, which is hands-off, mind-off, no
Yeah.
driver intervention, no takeover requests. It's pretty much autonomous. But we're not going to hit level 4 until more vehicles have the vehicle-to-vehicle
Communication.
implemented,
Right.
which
Yeah.
is actually a standard that's been around for quite some time now. I believe it was introduced prior to 2010, but it's just something that's taken a little while longer for vehicles to have introduced. But
Sure.
probably something you're going to be seeing more and more of if you're buying a car is, even if the car doesn't have the autopilot functionality and the level 3 or level 4 automatic driver functionality, your car might still have that function of being like, hey, this is ready for the time in the future when the government says if your vehicle doesn't have vehicle-to-vehicle communication, even if it's not autonomous at all, your vehicle needs to be able to contact other autonomous vehicles that are on the road so that they can navigate around you
Right.
and know what you're doing.
Sure.
And that is going to be a thing soon. the 2020s is probably what we're looking at for
soon
that.
With like all cars in general, or with just Tesla specifically.
Soon with all cars in general.
Nice.
I don't want to speak any more on that because I haven't looked up enough to say it definitively, but yeah, that's kind of what's coming.
And eventually we won't need any driver at all.
Yes,
And
eventually
we'll
it'll
just
all
have
be
the
fully
car,
autonomous.
We'll just have the car go to Vegas and cover CES for us.
Well, then we'll have a robot. We'll have the YouTube robot that
Robot.
acts like us,
Jump
looks
out of
like
the
us,
car.
and goes out and does all the coverage for us. That'll be awesome.
That'll be the day.
And then the robot will come back and
Can't wait. And then kill us
hop into bed with our wives. And
before
What?
murdering
Yeah.
them brutally.
and then murder them. What?
The
Okay.
robots. The stupid killer robots.
Let's move on to a new segment. A
Yay.
new segment on my half. That's right.
Yay.
It's called Phony News.
Phony news.
Get it? It's news
About phones?
about phones.
Ah, is it about like fake phones?
No,
Oh.
phony.
Phony.
As in
it's just
phone,
phonish.
phone-ish.
Phonish.
Phone related.
But phony definitely sounds better than phonish.
Yes,
I'll give you that. Yep.
exactly.
I'm digging it.
All right,
Wow.
cool.
Well, there's
I'm
definitely
glad you like it.
There's definitely been a lot of phone news. In
I
the
mean,
last
it is a
week or
day
so.
when you might think, hey,
Let's
talk about
phones.
phones a little bit. So here goes. Let's start off.
All right.
Intel and Qualcomm have been doing a lot of work and a lot of focus on 5G, promising a better customer experience.
About time.
This article here from telecomlead.com specifically says that a recent 5G consumer survey conducted by Qualcomm revealed that 48% of respondents are likely to purchase a smartphone that supports 5G when available. Now, a lot of that might just be for early adoption or just because people like to have compatibility with whatever the next new thing is. But Intel's 5G mobile trial platform in specific is what they've actually been testing out, since they are still working on the universal standards for 5G. It's not completely set in stone yet.
Yep.
But doing tests and providing proof of concepts is definitely a useful thing. So they're developing 5G with evolving third-generation partnership projects, 3GPP standards, which you guys might be familiar with. This will enable collaboration between carriers, their ecosystems, and the standards bodies that are creating the world of 5G.
Nice.
Now, 5G, as far as the actual bandwidth, the spectrum bands that it operates within, is actually going to operate on a variety of different spectrum bands because different spectrums are available or less available because they set aside different parts of the wireless spectrum for over-the-air TV broadcasts or what have you. It's going to operate in 6 different bands: 600 to 900 megahertz, 3.3 to 4.2 gigahertz, 4.4 to 4.9 gigahertz, 5.1 to 5.9 gigahertz, and 28 gigahertz and 39 gigahertz. That's six different spectrum bands. Now, in case you're wondering more specifically what this means to you, Korea has kind of been on the forefront of this as far as actually deploying 5G so that people with 5G capable devices, mostly cell phones of course, can actually make use of it. So Korea's LGU Plus has demonstrated 5G, the new radio standard, at 28 gigahertz, or that's the actual spectrum that they're operating on, with a peak rate of 2.5 gigabits per second, which is pretty fast.
Sounds like a lot.
Yes, they tested this on the urban 5G millimeter wave network in the Sangam district of Seoul in Korea. The 28 gigahertz cell tower produced a downlink rate of 2.5 gigabits per second at a distance of 1 kilometer from the actual cell tower. And then they tested a single user scenario, which isn't practical because when you're talking about a cell tower in a crowded district, you're going to have lots of different devices actually connecting to it. But as just a test case scenario, they tested a single user communicating with the tower and hit a peak rate of 18.5 gigabits per second, which is pretty damn impressive. I mean, that's a hell of a lot faster than most people have on their home wired network. If you're talking about just a basic gigabit connection, you'd have to go to 10 gigabit or 40 gigabit to actually surpass that. If you're wondering why South Korea is so on the forefront of 5G deployments, it's because they've made a huge push to expand the rollout of 5G leading up to the 2018 Winter Olympics, which are going to be held in Pyeongchang, South Korea. from Friday, February 9th to Sunday, February 25th, 2018. I'm excited about that. I like the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, me too.
I like the Super G.
I like winter the most.
Really? More than summer?
Winter Olympics, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I dig them.
My wife really likes the figure skating, which I don't mind.
Figure skating's pretty epic.
It's pretty cool.
And the I always forget the name. Where they're doing the thing. They're jerking off the broomstick into the balls. It's very phallic.
Wait.
Shuffle?
No.
No.
Dang
not
it.
Shuffle.
Dang it. No, I know what you're talking about.
No, they're like
the
it's so intense.
in Canada curling.
Curling.
Thank you.
Curling,
Thank you,
thank you.
chat.
Yes.
Reg
Curling's epic.
Reg Eric came up
I
with
love
curling
curling.
first in chat. Yeah,
Dude,
curling
cool.
is it's just intense. It's
It's
intense to
so
watch the curling
Fierce.
competitions.
Yep. Winter Olympics, baby. Gotta love it.
All right. It said that in Korea, 5G devices should be dominant by 2020. Again, fairly soon because they're rolling it out so quickly. Hopefully, in the U.S. and elsewhere, we'll also have rollout of 5G as well. But of course, it needs to be fully standardized first, and that is what Qualcomm and Intel are pushing towards.
Fair enough.
All right. Moving on with phony news.
Okay. I need more beer, by the way.
You do? There's more beers. There's 2 more right there.
Oh, cool.
Or you can drink more of this.
Beautiful. I'll switch gears with some dead guy. How are you doing? You're looking good.
It's good. I'll finish this off.
You're looking healthy.
I know you had a bad experience with it, so.
Okay. Yeah. A little salty. Yeah. Just a tad.
All right. Samsung is hoping to release a bendable Galaxy Note next year, which is
Ooh.
this is
So that'd be
fascinating.
Galaxy
Little-
Note 8?
A bit of
No.
video here. So look at that. Wait, I gotta jump back.
Wait.
Look at it.
Wow.
Wait, I didn't
Wow.
see it. Wait, I didn't see it.
Look at it.
That?
Wow.
Wait, why is that bendy? That's the whole phone? Oh, wait. It's like 2
Wow.
Wait, what?
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Wow, really?
Amazing.
Wow, that's what they're going for? They're treating this like a beer commercial?
All right, so this
like
is
if
a-
you have
this is
this
a-
phone,
this
you'll
is a
just get
20
random hot chicks?
This is a
God, look
2014
at that
commercial. This
bun.
commercial's already a couple years old, and this is just a flexible OLED display concept video that they made. But it's a good demonstration of how a flexible OLED display could be implemented in a phone for something that perhaps could be the size of a notebook that you could use as a phone in a stand-up sort of environment such as this, or if you had it open, as he does at the beginning here, it provides a much wider display that you can use for typing or watching video or media or playback
So
or
it's
that
got
kind
a
of thing.
screen on the front, the inside and
So
the
it's got
outside.
2 screens, and this one has so the bendy part is in the middle here, but it can flatten out
Mm-hmm.
so that there's no
One large screen.
gap there, something like that. Like you'd have if you had a split screen
Sure.
or something like that. So they're supposed to actually introduce a foldable phone in 2018, 4 years after they introduced this concept video of a foldable phone. It's supposed to be released under their flagship Galaxy Note line. They're still perfecting the technology of flexible OLED panels, so that's probably why we haven't seen one before now. But they do say that their Edge curved OLED phones, like the Samsung Galaxy Edge, whatever ones that have the kind of rolls off the side, it's not flexible. You can't move it, but
Right.
it is curved. They say they've been very successful, apparently,
Yeah.
which is the thing. So this is the first time that they've publicly spoken about plans to actually launch a full foldable phone. So potentially this could be the next big thing in 2018.
Flip phones are back, everyone.
The next,
Just not the way you remember them.
hey, I mean, if a flip phone works like this, I think that would be kind of interesting.
If flip phones get you that girl, everyone's going to be buying one.
And if the girl
Shoot.
is like, oh, wow.
Look at her. She's like, wow, it's so big.
Look at your phone.
So
It's
bad.
Flexible. It could just.
It's like flexible like me.
It's like it could fit anywhere.
I'm flexible.
That's awesome. All right, one last phone thing. The LG V30. Is it the perfect smartphone for vlogging? Perhaps.
Yes.
If you read this Engadget article, they might tell you yes. This is mainly talking about how LG actually introduced the LG V30, their newest V-series phone, at IFA last week. They spent about 20 minutes of the 50-minute presentation talking about the phone's dual camera system. This is an actual video from Engadget, or just a clip, showing how it's got the wide-angle lens and, maybe a suitable vlogging camera, especially if you have some kind of mount for it or something like that. I don't know. I would have more to say about this.
Wait, that's it? Wait, sorry. Like, besides the wide angle, what else does it have? Sorry.
If I had, that's what I was about to say. If I had more time to review, I would have gone into that. It doesn't have a massive sensor or anything like that. It's still a smaller sensor, so it's not like it's going to be suddenly replacing DSLRs or that kind of thing. But they do have a more advanced camera app that allows you to do other things such as white balance, switching between manual and autofocus, as well as adjusting pertinent stuff to photography such as ISO, shutter speed, and aperture.
I think for a phone to be vlog friendly, like these days, if you're like a top tier vlogger or something, it needs to have a front facing 4K camera, not just a rear.
And that's part of what it's talking about. But that's also,
so it does have one.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
But that's also part of what has been a lot of the talk about the Samsung Galaxy Note 8.
Mm-hmm.
And the LG V30 is potentially going to be a less expensive alternative to that.
Okay.
So the sources in this article claim that the standard 64 gig model will retail in South Korea for 949,000 Korean won, which is about $883, which would be less expensive than the Galaxy Note 8, which is about 1,094,000 Korean won, or about $968. So it's about not quite $100 cheaper if you're looking at the direct Korean conversions as far as the prices go. However, in the US, the Note 8 goes for $929 from the Samsung store if you buy it directly. So the article says they're expecting the V30 will be $800 to $850. So if it offers a comparable feature set to Samsung's phone, then maybe it might be something that people might consider as a flagship from LG that provides you most of the functionality, but I'm sure there are other cell phone reviewers who do a much better job than we do, who will probably cover that in more depth.
Nice.
That's all the phone news there is for today, though.
That was a good segment.
Pretty much everything.
The only interesting phone things.
Pretty much everything in the area of smartphones, cell phones in general, that was discussed today or is important.
I don't know, Paul. I feel like you covered everything. Actually, all the big news that has to do with phones this week.
Well, good.
I feel like it was very, very well.
It's good. I'm glad we were thorough in that regard.
Very thorough.
And yeah, hold on.
Beautiful. People are still clipping this. Like, it's been clipped 1,000 times.
They're clipping the clip of the clip? Is that what they're doing?
It's been clipped 1,000 times, and people are still awesome. Clipping it.
It's still.
Oh my god!
I'm so glad that was recording.
I know.
I would have been so disappointed if
that. How is it? Like, life is so effed up that is my biggest accomplishment. I feel like that's my biggest accomplishment.
I mean, you have to embrace the fails when they happen. I think that's the biggest.
Is it on the front page of Reddit yet?
Lesson.
God damn it!
Of all of this.
Come on.
All right, let's move on to a new segment. Another new segment.
A new segment.
My half has 2 new segments.
Woohoo!
People should be excited about that. This new segment is very simply titled Yes, No.
Yes, no.
Yes or no.
Ooh, I like it.
So
very black and white.
We're going to talk about some stories. Some stories, yes. Other stories, no.
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward.
Let's hear it.
So we're going to start off here. Wait, hold on. You're talking too quickly. All right, so start off with the quick story from Tech Power Up about Colorful.
Okay.
Colorful is a Chinese brand. They have been making graphics cards for quite a while, and apparently now they are delving into motherboards. I thought they did motherboards for. At the time when Kyle and I were still working at Newegg was talking to Colorful about bringing Colorful products into the U.S. and selling them via Newegg. I don't know if that ever actually went through or not.
I'm not sure.
I am not qualified to speak more on them. But look at that motherboard! What do you think of that, Kyle?
Oh my god. For mining?
Yes.
I kind of want one.
So, this is a motherboard
8-way
that
SLI.
Colorful has made, which is obviously not adhering to any specification or standard that currently exists when it comes to ATX,
What are all those 6 pins
EATX, SSI, CEB. I mean,
Are those
there's
6 pins for the video cards?
Yeah, the 6 pins are supplemental power for the video cards because each PCI Express connector here, the shortest part of the connector is the power delivery, and that's supposed to be able to provide 75 watts.
Right.
You can't just provide 75 watts full to this many slots via the 24 pin inputs.
Gotcha.
Where's the 24 pin?
There is none. It's been divided up into a dozen or so 6 pins. That's what's happened.
You're right.
Yeah, they split it.
There is no 24 pin. That's silly. That's
so bizarre.
That's really.
What? So do you need like 3 or 4 power supplies?
Yeah, how many splitters would you need for this? And for the supplemental CPU power, you've only got a 4 pin right there.
Of course, yeah.
No need for any heat sinks on any of your power delivery.
Is that an SO-DIMM slot right there too, to the right of the CPU?
Oh. Yeah. What?
Bizarre.
A single SO-DIMM slot.
Yeah. That's all you need, I guess. You
Wow.
don't need much memory. That's a trip.
That is really weird. All right, so this is a
16 PCIe power inputs.
8 PCIe by 16 slots. This is the C.B250A-BTC, because add -BTC
Bitcoin?
to any motherboard, and it means it's made for cryptocurrency mining.
Fucking hell.
Plus V20. 485 millimeters long, 195 millimeters wide. Won't fit in any case that currently
There's also
exists.
one SATA port on it.
There's
Only
a
one
single SATA
one
port.
SATA port.
My
Wow,
God.
this is the quintessential cryptocurrency mining motherboard.
All right,
It's
so
pretty
this
epic.
So this is horrendous. No, basically no.
No, it's not.
No, colorful.
Terrible. Look
No
at
to color.
the I/O.
Look at the I/O. Ah. How can they possibly make this any shittier? All right, so no.
They're gonna sell tons of these.
No.
They're gonna sell tons of these. So wait, how does this work though? Like, can you have are you gonna just hook up like 3 or 4 power supplies? Like, or will 16 PCIe?
Well, a lot of crypto miners do that already because they have to provide power to 8 graphics cards in a situation
Right.
that normally you wouldn't have to do that for. So there's ways of doing that. I don't know.
How?
The power delivery on this is insane.
Here's a question: are GPUs running for cryptocurrency mining? I have no idea. Are they all running at 100% GPU load, or are they lower than that? Do you know?
What?
If you're mining, are they at 100% load all the time?
No,
or
they don't. They don't require the full.
They don't max out.
Yeah, well, they require full power delivery. They don't require full bandwidth as far as the PCIe slot. So that's why most crypto rigs that you see will have, like Asus is coming out with one that has 18 PCIe by 1 connections for your graphics cards.
Right.
Yeah, but you don't need the full bandwidth between the CPU and the graphics card that you
Gotcha.
do with. Yeah.
My God.
But anyway, so no.
How many? You'd at least need 4 power supplies, I would think, for 16 plugs.
There are lots of splitters.
That's great. Well, here's a question: are there any power supply manufacturers who are making power supplies tailored for mining with just 16 6-pin PCIe plugs?
Well, that is one thing that has one of the lesser talked about effects of the cryptocurrency mining craze is that not only are a lot of graphics cards becoming have become very difficult to obtain, like AMD cards and whatever, but really high wattage power supplies have suddenly become in vogue, which hasn't really been a thing. Like most of the time for a gaming PC, you don't need 500 to 700 watts, maybe 800 if you're going SLI, 8 or 9, ish. But suddenly people actually have use of really good efficiency, 1200, 1500 watt power supplies. So yes, that is a thing.
Crazy.
But yeah, I mean, all you have with a 6-pin PCIe connector is 3 grounds and 3 12-volt leads.
Mm-hmm.
So all you're doing is multiplying a bunch of connections off of the 12-volt rail.
Right.
So it just matters what you connect those to and whether you have multiple 12-volt rails and what the draw is across all of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can effectively plug that in with a bunch of splitters, but I guess I don't know what kind of effect it would have on power supply.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch to Yes, Micro Center.
Okay.
Micro Center taking what I don't know, may or may not be an effective move against thwarting miners from buying tons and tons of graphics cards by basically playing or having a good time with their multiple order count functionality for how many cards you buy at the same time. So, if you've seen sites like Micro Center before, often they'll have bulk pricing available for different graphics cards. Here you can see the Power Color RX 580 Red Devil. Buy one, they're $350 each. Buy two, they're $350 each. Buy three or more, they're $10,000 each. So this is Micro Center's way of basically saying, hey,
wow.
Don't buy a crap ton of our graphics cards from us. Now, bear in mind, of course, this is an RX 580 and it's $350, and yes, that is overpriced by about $100 anyway.
Sure.
So they are, dipping into that a little bit, but it
They're playing
is
the
something.
game.
It is something. Because you see someone walking out of Micro Center with a shopping cart full of RX 580s or whatever, you're like, what?
What's
I saw a Reddit thread with a comment on it the other day, and the person said that the guy they knew, so this is anecdotal, but he would buy a bunch of cards here and then he'd basically fly them to China and sell them in China and make $4,000 or $5,000 profit, because in China the crypto mining thing is so insane and so popular. Because maybe you can get free access to electricity or that kind of thing.
I feel most people these days, especially techies, are going to look at this as a challenge. Like, oh, you're gonna try to restrict me from buying more than 2 video cards. I'm just gonna, use a different account and send the 3rd and 4th and 5th graphics card to a different shipping address, maybe a friend or family member, and I'm gonna get around it.
So yeah, I mean, there's potentially ways to thwart this type of thing, but even if it's just one of those sort of like for show kind of things, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a marketing thing.
Anytime you see something like that, we're like, well, that would probably keep people from buying more than 2 of those. That is the thing.
10,000's a bit, couldn't you just put 1,000? No one's going to do 1,000 for an RX 580.
Probably not. I don't know. It depends on the price of Ethereum at the moment. All right. Yes. Let's move back to no. Let's move back to no from yes.
Yay, no.
Here's a Gamers Nexus article about encouraging GPU price gouging. Gamers Nexus did an article on this as well as a video along with it.
About AMD encouraging
About AMD.
price.
I originally saw this tweet.
I saw this too. I didn't read
from AMD Gaming, and this is where this is all sourced from. AMD Gaming probably had some kind of deal or set up something as far as an advertising deal with Best Buy.
Yeah.
To advertise this specific XFX RX 570 for sale at Best Buy. So AMD Gaming is like, hey, fellow AMD Gaming, need a GPU? Grab this XFX Playhard RX 570 from Best Buy for only $279. And get the Quake Champions pack free. And a bunch of people followed up on this and were like, are you freaking kidding me, AMD Gaming? Do you know how much a RX 570 is supposed to cost?
Yeah.
Like, really? So, Steve made a video on this, and so just to be clear here, this is no. So we're saying no to
Definitely
two
no.
things here. I want to say no
Double
to
no.
2 things here.
Double no. Maybe
One, no to AMD for talking up the awesome price of this card, which is clearly very overpriced.
Yeah.
But a secondary no. A secondary no to Steve. I'm sorry, Steve, but I'm calling you out here. Price gouging is a term that I feel is thrown around a little bit too loosely. And as Steve titled the article, as well as the video, price gouging, I'm going to take issue here.
So what is the definition of price gouging?
What does price gouging actually mean?
What does that
Price
mean?
gouging is actually something that you can take legal action against, depending on where you are and what state you are and that kind of thing. It's a pejorative term referring to when a seller spikes the prices of goods, services, or commodities to a level much higher than is considered reasonable or fair, and is considered exploitative, potentially to an unethical extent.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, here's the issue. Price gouging as a term is normally used for something that is absolutely necessary to live. If you, for
Like
example,
water.
were a victim of one of the recent hurricanes, Harvey or Irma recently, and shout out to all you all in Florida. Stay strong. I hope you guys are doing well, and everyone who might happen to be willing to donate to Harvey or Irma, people who are affected by those hurricanes, we strongly encourage that. Donations to Red Cross, of course, are great. But price gouging, I feel like it's thrown around a little bit too often when it comes to something like a graphics card that you might be using to play video games with. You don't need to play video games to live, let's be honest.
Okay. So price gouging is really only a term reserved for, like, essential assets and resources.
Yes.
There's
in precise legal usage, it is the name of a crime that applies in some jurisdictions of the United States during civil emergencies. See, the dogs are upset too right now. You guys are pissing them off. In less precise usage, right. This is very, very.
Okay. In less precise usage.
Wait, where did it go? Yes. In
less
precise usage. And by the way, less precise usage is Wikipedia's way of saying wrong. That's Wikipedia doesn't like to be too much of an asshole. They're publicly, they rely on donations and stuff like that as well.
They're intelligent.
It can refer to either prices obtained by practices inconsistent with a competitive free market, which you could apply to AMD's pricing for their graphics cards, or to windfall profits. In the former Soviet Union, it's simply included under the single definition of speculation. So,
okay.
All I'm trying to say here is give AMD crap for overpricing their products. Give AMD crap for saying, on the one hand, we want to sell our products to gamers. We are all about gamers and everything. And then on the other hand, going and releasing a driver that's tailored to improve mining performance. Or them saying, like, yeah, we want gamers to have stuff. And saying, like, hey, look at this great deal on this overpriced graphics card doing inflation or whatever like that. Call them out on saying one thing and doing another.
Right. Price
gouging, though, I do feel like is thrown out about a little bit too willy-nilly.
Okay.
And when it comes to actual price gouging, that's the contrast I make. Not to be like, well, they're being dicks, whatever. But actual price gouging is like keeping people away from the things they need to live and survive another day. Like that's what the term price gouging is all about.
Right.
So this is where I would say,
like, you're in a third world country and bread has now been, taken over by Martin Shkreli, and he's making it 5 times the cost.
You're not supposed to say his name, Kyle.
Yeah, I know. So is there? So here's my question: is there a more appropriate term, or word, or phrase to describe what we're feeling for this sort of situation besides price gouging? AMD is not necessarily price gouging, but they are blank. Is there any alternative that you would suggest?
Overpriced?
Simply, it's just
overinflated,
it is what it is.
Overinflated or inflated pricing, or that kind of thing.
Gotcha. Yep.
Anyway, yeah.
I don't know. So I don't know, Paul. Some people might argue that gaming graphics cards are necessary for survival.
I mean, if you live off of cryptocurrency, then maybe then you have an argument for me.
If you are a Bitcoin.
If you are a Bitcoin,
right, then that is.
Then we'll let it slide. All right.
Verified price gouging.
Let's end on a high note. Let's say a yes.
Hey, yes.
We have a yes here from Windows 10. Microsoft has actually addressed a stuttering problem with one of the recent updates. So we would initially say no, because a no creators update in March. As far back as March, when the creators update was first actually made available. Caused stuttering in specific games. What's listed here? Overwatch, Rocket League, Mass Effect, very popular games, very widely played, and definitely one of those maddening things. Like, you build your own computer, you get it all set up, you're playing, and micro stutter. You're like, what is causing that?
There's no reason for it to happen.
Like, it's maddening, it's sporadic. You're like, did I do something wrong?
Yeah.
Is it the software?
It's price gouging.
Do I have it's price gouging. That's what it is. It's price gouging that's causing the stuttering. But Microsoft has addressed this directly. they have said yes, they know it happens, and they are promising a fix to ongoing game stuttering problems. Hopefully with the next creators update, I guess. I don't know.
Fingers crossed, everybody.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But for anyone who has been experiencing this type of thing, hopefully there is a fix on the way, and hopefully Microsoft will get that out very soon.
Cool.
Build 16.273 of the Insiders program released on August 23rd contained a few feature updates, including new font and mixed reality controls. However, Microsoft has moved to the bug-fixing portion of its development process in preparation for the Fall Creators Update, which is going to be deployed October 17th. So just about a month from now, a little over a month. So hopefully, if you're having stuttering problems, maybe that will be the fix that fixes it.
Beautiful.
Awesome. All right, we are now finished with the yes/no segment,
Woo!
And we're going to finish off with a few shout-outs to those of you who have purchased stuff on our stores. But before we get to that, some Q&A for those of you who maybe have happened to donate it during my half of the show.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to answer your questions.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure there's lots of questions. Hey, where'd that go? Oh, Paul Sapp. Oh, cool. We deleted Kyle Sapp. That makes it much easier. First question from Tom's Bremsmiths with 20 Norwegian krona. Okay, I will try to send something. Hold on for Reaper.
Reaper?
Reaper? I don't know what that means. He donated on your half, and we said something, and maybe he's responding.
Reaper. Sounds familiar, but...
Oh, Sel also said Chrome screwed up here, so maybe we missed something. I don't know. But thank you, Toms. Thank you, Toms, for your Norwegian krona.
Bremsmiths.
Alex McNabb with 10 British pounds. LOLOL, so 9590 again. Don't need the cores, just a gamer. Best for the 980 Ti's, please. Alright, if you're absolutely going for just strict gaming, then a 7700K is probably what you'd want to go for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just
To get the highest IPC.
straight up. But Coffee Lake is on the horizon and might potentially have better IPC than what you can get with that. So
hold out for it.
might be worth it to wait. I don't know, a month or 2, 3. We're not sure.
Yeah.
It's all rumored stuff right now. We can't say for sure. So, Alex, maybe you should wait for the next generation of Intel.
I would.
If gaming strictly is what you're into, because Intel does still have the edge there.
Yeah.
I'm Manny99 with a $10 donation. Thank you, sir. 4790K and a 1080 Ti issue. Only play iRacing. All CPU cores unpacked. Same usage in CAM. Performance, power, and Windows and NVIDIA FPS from 180 to 50 with a lot of stutter on triple monitors. How's the eye, Kyle? How's your eye doing?
My eye is fine, thanks to my
The
glasses.
glasses did protect him from that.
They really did. They're the true unsung hero of today's stream. But if you're experiencing really bad droppage from 180 to 50 FPS with stutter on triple monitors,
It's because you're using triple monitors.
Did you go from one monitor? Is that what the drop you're talking about? 180 on one monitor and 50 on 3? Because that makes sense.
It might be. It might have to do with your triple monitor usage. Multiple monitors like that and resolutions like that
actually crushes
sometimes do not have as great of support on the software side, specifically from iRacing. I'm not familiar with iRacing and their support for multiple monitor though, so I can't say that for absolutely sure.
Right. I'm not familiar with that game at all.
But yeah, man, that does suck. I would maybe consider doing some testing just with a single monitor and see if you have that same kind of performance dip as far as the variance from the high frame rate down to the lowest frame rate. And that might tell you whether or not your issue is more to do with the multi-monitor issue or whether you actually have something else going on, such as a problem with your CPU or software or something like that that you might be able to fix otherwise. It might just be multi-monitor support, and if I'm assuming you're doing like a really wide aspect ratio or wide resolution, and it might just be something like that combined with iRacing. I would also consider looking up other people, since I know iRacing tends to be that kind of game that has a community of followers. See if you can find anyone else who has your same setup and what kind of performance they're getting. Because if you can find someone else who's like, yeah, this is what I'm using and it's awesome, then you'd be like, all right, I've got something going on that's specific to me. But troubleshooting, that can be a pain in the ass.
Good luck, Manny.
Thank you, Manny, though. Missed X Tube, $5 Canadian. Sorry, I meant AMD 1980X and GTX 1080. AMD has a 1950X, I'm guessing is what you're saying. It's an odd pair, but the FPS was unexpected. So I think what they're saying is Linus recently did a video where they tested a 1950X with a GTX 1080.
Yes.
AMD's 1950X is based on Ryzen architecture,
Right.
and at the same frequencies, you should get roughly the same performance out of a GTX 1080 that you would with a standard like a Ryzen 1800X or something like that. So that's what I would compare it to. I haven't watched that video with Linus specifically, but you know, testing can be anecdotal. It depends.
True.
It depends on the setup and everything. It depends on how thorough they were with saying like, oh, here was a test we ran that seemed out of the ordinary, so we did this and this and this to see if we could figure out what was causing that or whatever. But again, I haven't watched the video, so I'm sorry I can't provide.
I'm gonna
little
go
bit
to
more
the
of that.
bathroom.
Okay.
I really have to.
No problem.
I'll BRB.
Drew Pickard, $5 donation. Nori, no. You tell her no. Sternly, and thoroughly. Drew Pickard, $5 donation. You mentioned the AM4 socket will go to 2020. Anything about how long TR4 will go till? If it's 2020, a 1900X makes sense if you upgrade later. Drew, I would agree. Anyone who I'm saying maybe consider a 1900X is people who I'm saying consider a 1900X if you're planning to upgrade later. If all you ever need is 8 cores, then it makes a lot more sense to go with the mainstream platform from AMD and AM4 with like a 370X setup or something like that. 2020 is, I believe, I would need to correct myself on that. I think I said that off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure that's what AMD said. That's what they're going to support the AM4 socket for. There's no telling if they might come out with another platform at the same time as that or whatever. But a lot of this has to do with their need to reassure, for instance, like OEMs, system integrators, to be able to say, look, or companies that are building systems for use in like a workplace environment, to say, this hardware that you're investing in right now is going to have support and updates through a significantly longer period of time, or at least a defined period of time for like 4-ish years, 3-4 years. So yeah, there's a lot going on there, but that's what we're expecting. So I think if there is a Zen 2 next year, from what they've told us, it should also be compatible with AM4. But yeah, again, we're not sure. They might do a new chipset or something like that as possible. It's just there's lots of variables that go in there. All right, what's next? $5 from. It's a $5 donation. There's no name on it, but it says, "Hi Paul, thank you for coming to my birthday celebration. Here's some cash for the beer." Kyle showered you with. Kyle, you're a dummy, but I still love you. So happy birthday to whoever that was. I'm sorry the name isn't there, but happy birthday and cheers. Cheers to you. I'll take a drink. Next up is Robert Davis with a $5 donation. Kyle, thank you for making me purchase an AT2020 mic. It sounds amazing. Also, when will the H500P be out? Soon, I think the H500P. I know it's soon, relatively soon.
Either later this
That
month
was first.
or early
That
next
was
month.
first introduced at Computex. It does seem like a pretty exciting case. I know I told Cooler Master that I didn't want the Cosmos because it's just too large, but I am interested in the half. And Hero's down there.
There's a 500-pound dog.
Yeah,
just
he's
beneath me.
large. He's a large dog. Juju B's $20 donation. I forgot how much I gave Kyle. I'll assume it's $20.
Sounds about right.
That makes it even between the two of us.
I can confirm.
That way we don't have to fight later on. Chris, thank you, Juju B's. Chris Warren, $10 donation. I'm building an HTPC out of an old 3770. Can you suggest a case that doesn't have a side window? Size doesn't matter. I don't need to hide the PC. More concerned with hiding the ugliness within. Most cases...
I mean, a mini ATX one you can find. Okay.
Yeah.
So my HTPC that Wifey Sauce and I have used for the last couple of years has been the SG05 from Silverstone.
Okay.
It's just a little bare bones box. It's just black box. It has ventilation on almost every side of it, so there's no window. just steel on every side. So it's good, and it's very portable, so it'll fit pretty much anywhere.
I'll also say that a lot of cases that you can find that have side panel windows will often have versions you can buy that have a solid side panel as well.
Yeah.
That's very, very common. So, sorry we don't have very many direct recommendations for you, but motherboard size would have been important there. I'm assuming you're full ATX. Just get like a S340 or something like that with this solid side panel. Automatic Matt, $5 donation. You're still here. I thought you were shipping out. I'll wear Paul's polo during the oath and Kyle's Bitwit shirt the day before. Shout out to Vaporeon for Life, who ships the day after me. That's awesome. I am honored. I am honored, Matt. You honor me far more than we deserve.
Matt's the
Especially
best.
with the polo. Thank you so much, Matt.
Yeah.
Another donation from
Love you,
Automatic Matt. Last donation for a while, guys. I'll miss you all. Cell, don't let the house burn down while I'm gone. Cell will not let that happen.
Cell's a trooper.
He is very, very diligent. Super diligent. Matt, thank you so much. And
Thank you, Matt.
And thank you for your service, sir. Juju Bees with another donation, $10. I don't think my donation went through on Kyle's end. Can you pass this +5 to Kyle? Kyle owes me money, so we'll just take it out of that.
We'll just deduce it.
El Jefe
Okay,
Reviews. $5. Any thoughts on YouTube auto-flagging videos as unsuitable for ads? Happens to me for the first time last week. Has this happened to you guys yet? It has not happened to me.
No, it has not.
I feel
Same.
I feel bad because I've seen it happening to a lot of people who are doing content that's totally not like the type you would see flagged.
Right. Taryn from LTT just tweeted something. He
He's
was doing
got
some.
flags?
He was doing some A/B comparison testing. He was just uploading like 10-second clips to YouTube.
Yeah.
They were exactly the same, but one of them had some scrolling text at the bottom. That wasn't even like bad or anything, and it got flagged for unsuitable for advertising. He tweeted about it today. I looked at it, I was like, if that's true, that's really effed up. Because it was literally just like some scrollable text that was moving across the bottom of the screen. Same clip as the other one. The other one was perfectly fine. So the algorithm is clearly not perfect, which is really unfortunate to a lot of creators. But
Well, yeah, that really sucks.
Hasn't been affected
I feel bad, but I kind of feel like we are, like our channels are of a certain subscribership and a certain age to where we're in a group that's not being as flagged as like, because obviously there's automation going on that's doing some of the flagging, and I feel like we're kind of like we kind of missed that because we're at a certain level. I feel bad about that. But yeah, at this point, none of my stuff's been flagged, so I feel really, really bad for anyone who has been dealing with that, especially people who make a living off of this, because it's really, really difficult to deal with.
It's already hard enough. Yeah.
But I hope YouTube, gets their act together as far as the balance between suitable advertising content, providing ads for people that are appropriate, and being able to pay creators to make more content, because that's kind of how their business model is supposed to work.
Yeah.
Kevin Guzman, $5 donation. Is starting a LAN gaming center a viable business in America? Or do gamers already have decent systems, consoles, and good internet? Kevin, I would say no. Alright, maybe depending on the community that you're a part of. But I will say, in my experience in the US, LAN gaming centers or just businesses where people go and there's a bunch of computers and they can go and play games together, I see those a lot less frequently than I feel like are like the internet cafes and stuff like that you find in Asia that are a lot more frequent and a lot more common. I still see them around. I know there's one in Fullerton that I've seen before.
They're around, but nowhere near where they used to be.
Yeah.
There's been a couple that I used to frequent when I was younger that have closed down and have been replaced because there's just not as much of a demand for it. No one's on 56K dial-up or whatever.
I think you need to make sure that you have a regular clientele that can sustain your business. So in some communities, maybe that is something that you could put together.
Yeah.
But it's really probably going to be on a case-by-case basis. So I'd say, generally speaking, in the U.S., no.
Yeah.
But don't give up on that. Like check with the community, see if that's something that's desired. Crafty Hack, $5 donation. Planning an after party sometime before you're too old and your fingers are still working correctly. All right, so the after parties after the show, we kind of like we enjoyed, but we just shut down because it's like after doing
So
all the
much
drinking
energy.
and everything, it's like it's really tiring. So
Takes a lot of energy to do the show, believe it or
I
not.
can't promise any further after parties as far as directly after the show after parties.
Right.
But I do like live streaming, and I do want to get back into that. So I've been thinking about some possibilities for some like doing something where I live stream to Twitch, where I'm streaming like a specific rig or setup that I'm gaming on, and then you can see the frame rate and everything like that, and then I can take that Twitch stream and then like cut it down to like some shorter parts and then upload that to YouTube or something like that.
What would be cool is if like you and I did sort of a collab thing. We could even include like Jay or whoever else, where we each gamed or streamed on different PCs of different tiers. Like maybe I was mid-range, you were high-end, and Jay was like super high-end or whatever, for example. And we just streamed like PUBG together or something for like a couple hours. And it'd be like the three of us playing a game together, and we'd have like the frame rate counter and stuff like you said. You know, maybe MSI Afterburner, Reva Tuner statistics and stuff up on the UHD and stuff. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
We should
'Cause I definitely
organize something like that. When
I
we're not
definitely
so
want
drunk.
to. I definitely want to game more, and I feel like
Me too.
I feel like I always want to game, and I'm like, no, I can't game. I need to work on videos or whatever.
We need
so,
to make gaming the work.
Yeah, I need to make
Work on
more
that.
videos that involve me gaming. So yeah.
Indeed.
All
It's
right.
in our minds.
Vispatech, $10 GPU free market prices are legit. GPUs are parallel processors, and people will pay for what they feel they can get out of it. Miners happen to have fast cash. My rig is a 1950X Vega F. Found Vega for G-Skill Asus Zenith. All right, thank you very much for your comment and your donation, sir.
Thanks.
And I would agree. If people can make money mining with GPUs, they will buy those GPUs.
Oh yeah.
I do not disagree with you at all. Heather Hansen, Kyle's wife, donates $5 to me.
What?
You don't remember coming to my birthday? LOL, not sure why my name didn't show up. Love wifey sauce. Oh, that was her donation.
Oh,
The donation with no name on it was
hers?
from your wife.
there's a donation with no name.
Yeah, where was that? That was on my half. It was a nameless donation. Oh, it was, hi Paul, thank you for coming to my birthday celebration. Here's some cash for the beer Kyle showered with. Kyle, you're a dummy, but I still love you. So that was from your wife.
Why did that not have a name? How was that
I
anonymous?
think Sel just didn't copy it. It's okay. It's fine. But all right. But that meant that your wife had to donate me another $5. So I'm totally fine with that.
Wow, big spender.
Yes. Thank you, Heather.
There better be ready
Heather had a birthday recently,
Yep, everyone go wish her a happy birthday.
and everyone wished her a happy birthday.
Wifey sauce on
Wifey
Twitter.
sauce. And yeah, we had a really good time. That was a great party.
It was fun.
How was Sunday? We weren't around on Sunday.
Sunday was cool. We just
Oh,
like literally just hung out by the beach and drank beer.
that was
good.
awesome.
It was a good time.
Very nice.
Yep.
All right, we have a well. Let's do Johnson's first. Let's real quickly do Johnson's. I just have I have 3 Johnsons here. Big old Johnson for Jacob from North Carolina. Got a thumbscrew shirt as well as a black logo pullover hooded sweatshirt. That's the first purchase, I believe.
Hooded
believe,
sweatshirts.
Jacob, you're the first to purchase a pullover hooded sweatshirt from me. So thank you so much for
Nice.
initiating that particular new product line. Christian from Colorado got the pub glass 2 glass set. Thank you so much for your purchase there, sir. And one more from Lewis from California. Got the 11-ounce mug, which is again on sale. Get the 11-ounce mugs while they still last. Once they're sold out, they're gone for good.
Oh yeah. Sweet.
Any for you, Kyle?
I have. I didn't have actually any for this show.
Okay.
So for this half, so I'm very sad. But I will read off just 1 or 2 from yesterday. Those of you guys who
Oh,
bought
yeah.
something earlier in the week. We've got one from Linda. Thank you very much, Linda, for picking up a Bitwit white logo women's V-neck shirt. Actually, 2 of them, and a fidget spinner, of course, and a tall boy pint glass, and also a cap. You bought a hat too. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Appreciate
the hats.
that.
Yeah, the hats are nice.
And then one from Maria. I got the ladies today. All right.
I believe I'm going to have
with,
hats soon as
A
well.
white logo Navy Tri-Blend t-shirt. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate that. But holy hell. Do we have a raid shout out?
We do, but all right. So before the raid, we have one we have several requests apparently according to Cell. Everyone's requesting this one last time.
Okay.
Just the highlight of today's episode.
You can't ignore it.
Kyle blasting himself right in the eye with
Yeah. Dude, I swear to God.
Oh my god!
I can't. I still can't believe it.
Oh my god! Oh.
That's by far and away the best moment that's ever happened on the live stream
yes, I agree.
anywhere.
I agree.
I'm sorry.
I agree.
So are these real time?
I think this is
real time
This
chat
is what was
response?
happening in the chats that were happening right as that happened, which is just epic, super epic. I like that Twitch does that. It records everything.
Yeah.
Keeps everything.
Just the,
Alright.
the pure shock. Well, thank you guys.
Guys,
for
if
seeing
you're
that.
watching us live, we're going to do a Twitch raid. Go over to twitch.tv/WarwitchTV, WARWITCH TV. Tell them that we sent you a awesome hardware raid for the ages. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the thumbs up
Thank
button on the way
you.
out. If you missed the first half, it's linked in the description as well as all of the articles we talked about today. You guys are awesome, and we'll be back next week.
Bye, guys.
from
no
Kyle's.
No more corks.
No more corks.
No more corked bottles.
No more corked bottles. We're gonna be careful with that from now on.
Putting my foot down right now.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Have a
Thanks,
good
everyone.
one.
Trying to click on things and it's not working. All right. Yeah.